So front row of the grid comes into position. Rod Burley in the Honda alongside the yellow and red and blue Mazda of Clive Hainsford alongside. It's an all-red second row of the grid, the Clio of Nick Gwinnett alongside the red Vauxhall Astra, but with its black bonnet and its white flashes down the side of it. Row 3, grey and white for Andy Thompson in the Seat Leon alongside the all-yellow Renault 5 Turbo of David Clark. This is scheduled to be a 15-minute race for the second Track Attack Racing Club. Remember, we've got cars mixed up with the Nippon Trophy, the Tricolore Trophy, the 206 GTI Cup, and Deutsche Marks as well, which caters for Audis, BMWs, Mercedes, Porsches, Volkswagens. So it's a real mixture. And it's sort of 3 or 4 series within one, really, that we will see in this one. We'll try and pick out the winners and the leaders of each as the race wears on. So, red lights are about to turn their way on, which they do now. Rod Burley and Clive Hainsford on the front row of the grid. The lights go out. The Mazda, you would expect to get the better start, and indeed it does as the lights go out. Rod Burley not slow away. We're 4 wide further back. It's all getting rather tight, to say the least, but they've all managed to sort out who wants to be where. Clive Hainsford leads the race. Rod Burley is in second place. Nick Gwinnett is there in third place. Dave Clark is in fourth position, but is coming under pressure, both drivers right and drivers left by the look of things, as Peter Osborne tries to go round the outside, and tucking himself in behind goes Robert Buckland's Renault Clio. So Dave Clark is under attack from Peter Osborne and will lose out fourth place in towards the braking area for Graham Hill Bend. But for the lead of the race, Clive Hainsford has managed to get the jump on the Honda of Rod Burley, but Rod Burley, a bit like race 1, isn't going to go away, is he?
No, not at all. And yeah, I have to say it was a good start from Hainsford, but again, Rod Burley getting a lot of wheel spin off the line. Like you say, it wasn't a slow start, but it wasn't his best start he could have had there, as they now make their way on towards that start-finish line, on towards the Bradford Straight. You can see here, once again, Hainsford leading the way for now as they make their way now down towards Paddock Hill Bend for the second time in this race. That is the number 87 of David Clark launching it up the inside of the Vauxhall there of Peter Osborne, I should say. And David Clark now, nice move from him in towards Paddock Hill Bend. He's up to fourth.
Yeah, he is up to fourth position at the wheel of what is probably one of the oldest cars that we've got in the field as well. Rod Burley looking to try and grab the lead of the race from Clive Hainsford, but that's not quite going to work. So Mazda still leads Honda. These two used to racing with each other as well, because they used to race on the short ovals at Essex Arena together in hot rods many years ago, this pair. So Clive Hainsford still leading. Rod Burley still in second position. Nick Gwinnett, the former Jaguar racer, still sitting there in third place. Fourth place is now going to be Dave Clark, looking to try and attack the Renault Clio that lies ahead of him. Rod Burley trying to attack for the lead of the race, but we know that the Honda runs out of puff compared to the Mazda in a straight line. Renault, however, sides its way, Renault 5 that is, past Renault Clio in a straight line. So Dave Clark now up into third position, as we say, at the wheel of probably the oldest car in the field, and the car that harks back to the one main championship, the Renault 5 GT Turbo, back in what, the latter part of the 1980s in this country.
Yeah, and it's good to see that Renault 5 still has a bit of grunt about it, up into third place, and now can try and challenge the lead too, as they now make their way down in towards that Graham Hill Bend. And obviously that number 14 of Nick Gwinnett is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. Through the corners he looks good there, but again, just lacking that grunt, and the Renault 5 can start to pull away as they now make their way in towards that left hand of Surtees and onwards through McLaren. But racing at the moment is still Clive Hainsford ahead of Rod Burley, but it is now David Clark who is on the last podium spot. He's had a great race so far.
He really has had a very good race so far, as Dave Clark. And what is he doing relative to the others? Well, last time through he set the best lap of the race, 54.703. The time that he's just gone through and over the start finish line now, he's still slightly quicker than Rod Burley actually. So the gap first to second is roughly what it was. The gap second to third is slowly just being chipped away at by Dave Clark, and he's bringing with him Nick Gwinnett's fourth place Renault Clio as well. Peter Osborne is not really making any inroads as he sits there in fifth position. And sixth place, I would have thought Robert Buckland might have started to move in a little bit closer to the cars ahead, but for the moment his Renault Clio, which is the white bonneted and sort of black front wings and red roofed and red rear end car, is still sitting there in sixth position. Race leaders are about to complete lap number 4 before too much longer. Still 2 for the lead of the race in a straight line. Again, Clive Hainsford should be able to propel away the aspirations of Rod Burley, but Rod Burley will very shortly have to watch his mirrors, won't he? He's got a red Renault 5 behind him.
Well, absolutely. The number 87 there, as they now try to make their way in towards Paddock Hill Bend. You saw there Rod Burley trying to have a look up the inside. He's got to be careful now, because any wrong move leaves him vulnerable to that Renault 5. The number 87, that yellow Renault, looking for a move here. Might he go around the outside in towards Druids there? He's certainly looking for some sort of cutback here. They're now heading their way down the hill towards Graham Hill Bend. They're 3 wide there going through, but the number 87 there of David Clark thinking better of it. And there's the drive then that the number 150 of Rod Burley needed down in towards Surtees, but no, he can't quite make that move stick then, and Clive Hainsford holds on, and somehow the top 3 stay exactly as they were when they started this lap.
Yeah, and it's now been joined to make it a top 4, because Nick Gwinnett wants in on the fun as well. So here they come. It's exiting Clearways Corner, where Rod Burley has a clear advantage over the Mazda, but in a straight line he loses out on Puff, and Dave Clark I think is fairly easily going to sweep the Renault 5 Turbo through and ahead of Rod Burley potentially here. Yep, through goes Dave Clark up into second position. Clive Hainsford still leads the race at this stage, but now Dave Clark is in prime position to try and attack the Mazda for the lead of the race. He's looking to try and open the door on the run up towards Druids Corner. He's through. The Renault goes through. Clive Hainsford leaves the door open, so Rod Burley tries to capitalise as well. Burley will push him out wide on the exit of the corner. Onto the grass goes Clive Hainsford, and from the lead of the race, Nick Gwinnett now is also trying to place him a further position down. Hainsford just about manages to hang on to it. There's traffic just up the road that needs dealing with as well, which is going to be Stephen Fuller's Peugeot 206. He stays well and truly out of harm's way while this leading pack of cars carve their way through, but Dave Clark has got the job done. He leads the race, and Clive Hainsford now has lost out on second place as Rob Burley's gone through as well.
Yeah, David Clark, 6th place he started. He's now leading this race as he makes his way towards the line. Just under 9.5 minutes to go, and that is the Renault 5 making his way now down towards the first braking zone, in towards Paddock Hill Bend. Behind him is the number 150 of Rod Burley, as you can see there, making their way through down in towards the right-hander of Druids. But yeah, a fantastic race so far from David Clark.
Yeah, and what can he do about trying to pull away from Rod Burley? Well, we know he's got the straight line speed advantage, however he hasn't quite got the same handling as the slightly more nimble, I would say, and slightly longer wheelbase, therefore better balanced Honda that sits behind. Round through Surtees up towards McLaren now go. Renault leads, Honda second, Mazda third, another Renault sitting there in 4th place, Vauxhall in 5th position, and a good fight going on for 6th and 7th place as well. Let's not forget Robert Buckland, number 75, and Tony Hunter, number 1, are doing exactly what they did in race number 1 and having a great little battle, aren't they?
They absolutely are, and before Tony Hunter ran into problems in that first race, he was looking for a good podium spot. However, this time around he's going to be battling this for 6th place as they make their way in towards Paddock Hill Bend, as we now turn our attention towards Druids, as that is the number 150 of Rod Burley going up the inside of the Renault 5 of David Clark and takes back the lead of the race. It looks like that car as well is much better under the brakes, that white and black 150 car, as he now makes his way into the lead of the race.
Yeah, I think Dave Clark either missed the gear there, or all of a sudden there's a problem starting to develop with that car, because you could see his speed really slowed on the exit of Paddock Hill Bend when he should have been accelerating. So it does make me wonder whether he maybe had a couple of attempts at trying to hook a gear up, and then by the time he'd hooked it up he'd lost all the momentum, and Rod Burley fairly effortlessly was able to retake the lead of the race. Over the start finish line they'll go. Rod Burley leads the race and needs the Nippon trophy element of this race. In second place is Dave Clark. He'll be leading the Tricolore trophy section of it. If we look for who is leading the Peugeot 206 Cup element of it, it's going to be car number 53 again, which is Carl Powell, who is a leading Peugeot 206 GTI that we have in the field. And as for Deutsche Marks, I'll have to work that one out, because it's the leading Audi or BMW or Mini or Mercedes or Porsche or Volkswagen. There's quite a few of them.
Absolutely, but we turn our attention once again to Graham Hill Bend, where we've got the number 52 Mazda, who's under pressure there from the Renault Clio of Nick Gwinnett. That's the battle for what I believe to be 3rd place in this race, as we now make our way through the right-handers now of McLaren and Clearways. And Nick Gwinnett, he's got that real grit and determination. He might not have the car behind him, but there's certainly that drive behind him to make sure he gets absolutely everything out of that car.
Yeah, he's pushing as hard as he can, and you'll see as to whether he might be able to try and work his way through and get himself ahead of the Mazda. There goes up towards the braking area for Paddock Hill Bend, also the 2 Renault Clios together, fighting over 5th and 6th place. Number 75 Robert Buckland still under pressure from the all-white car with the French Tricolore flag on the roof, that being Tony Hunter. And the moment. Tony Hunter, despite the fact that he's pushing hard, he's turned his lights on, he's doing anything to try and distract Robert Buckland, it's not made an ounce of difference so far, albeit they're absolutely bumper to bumper almost, heading round through Graham Hill Bend. 6 minutes to go. Race leader Rob Burley is on lap number 10.
Tony Hunter looking for a move there as we headed through Surtees and now on towards McLaren and Clearways, trying to move up the inside. Wasn't going to happen. The door was always closing as we now start yet another lap in this race. The number 150 of Rod Burley comes in towards Paddock Hill Bend in the lead of this race, closely followed by the number 87 of Dave Clark. Then you've got that traffic there in the battle for third place as well, where everyone has to back off. Tony Hunter, though, doesn't want to back off there in towards turn one, tried to take advantage of that number 75 there of Buckland, but couldn't quite find his way through.
Yeah, Clive Hainsford is in the traffic as well as he's trying to work his way through the order. Dave Clark in second place, compromised by the back marker, I'm afraid, heading in towards Graham Hill Bend. He couldn't quite manage to get past Nick Moore's Citroen Saxo in time, so that cost him time. And now Clive Hainsford is held up by more traffic heading in towards Graham Hill Bend, which has allowed the car of Nick Gwinnett to close on him, and Nick Gwinnett has lost out as Peter Osborne throws the Vauxhall up the inside heading in towards Surtees corner. So we have had a change, not the one I was expecting. It's now a change for fourth place. Peter Osborne up to fourth, car number 177 in the Vauxhall. Nick Gwinnett, number 14 Renault Clio, down into fifth place.
Yeah, nice move from Peter Osborne, but he's going to try and hold on to it down this start finish straight, down the Brabham straight I should say, and onwards now we go. We've got a spinner actually, we've got a Renault Clio off at turn one there, and that looks a mighty one there.
Looks like Gerard Merriman to me.
Yeah, he's out of the car, so he's walking away, that's good to see, but it looks like possibly he's lost that under braking going in towards there because he's gone in backwards, so he's locked the brakes and the car spun itself around.
Yeah,
like.
Gerard will not be a merry man at the moment, will he, with that car having gone in backwards? So yeah, that is possibly going to bring about a safety car again. It does make me wonder. 4 minutes of the race to go. We just avoided it but had a slightly earlier checker, didn't we, in the previous race, so we'll have to keep an eye towards that as to what the clerk of the course is deciding to do in this one. Rob Burley will carry on his merry way, pushing as hard as he possibly can. He's got Dave Clark, who's closed in on him this time through. The gap was 1.2 seconds first to second. It's been halved on that lap, so Dave Clark, at the wheel of the Renault 5 Turbo, pushing hard to try and re-inherit the lead of the race again.
Yeah, and they've got to be careful as well, because going in towards the first corner, they obviously can't do any overtaking with that yellow flag there covering the Renault Clio that is in the barrier. Once they get to that green flag, then they can go racing all the way up towards the right-hander of Druids, and it's looking pretty tight and contested through there, that is for sure. I could just about see the number 14 of Nick Gwinnett just about trying to put the number 177 Vauxhall of Peter Osborne under pressure, but Osborne is having none of it. He's able to hold firm.
I'm watching the two behind. I'm watching Robert Buckland, who's trying to be outfoxed by Tony Hunter, and it is really now four cars fighting over what is third, fourth, fifth and sixth position. All four of them have got themselves together. Over the start finish line goes our race leader. Rob Burley still continues to lead the race. It is Dave Clark in second place, and then we get this fantastic third place battle, which is Peter Osborne's Vauxhall under pressure from Nick Gwinnett's Renault Clio, and then the next two Clios as well, Robert Buckland and Tony Hunter. And the poor old Mazda now with Clive Hainsford is tumbling down through the order still, isn't he? I'm afraid he is now down into seventh position.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, but you can see now as he makes his way out of Paddock Hill Bend, up the hill towards Druids, that car is trying to get back underway. But we've got a fantastic scrap here. Look at them now as they head their way now down towards Graham Hill Bend. That's your battle for third place involving all four of those cars. That is going to be one heck of a battle. The number 75 there of Buckland trying to take advantage of a bit of a not so great exit from Gwinnett out of Graham Hill Bend, but the four of them pretty much now in formation as they head their way now through McLaren and then through Clearways.
Yeah, Robert Buckland trying to sneak up the inside of Nick Gwinnett, almost got the overlap but wasn't quite to be, I'm afraid, so they get back to being in nose to tail order, but they're going to be side by side again by the time they come over the start finish line. Robert Buckland looking to try and draw himself alongside Nick Gwinnett. He's going to run out of space as well as they head in towards the braking area at Paddock Hill Bend, where the yellow flags have now been withdrawn, so it is another overtaking opportunity should they wish. So we've got four cars fighting over the final podium spot. Out front, Rod Burley still leads Dave Clark to the tune of about a second, I would say, now as they head along the Cooper Straight, but we are almost side by side again for third and fourth place. Peter Osborne doing a really good job of holding off Nick Gwinnett going in towards Graham Hill Bend. On the way out, Gwinnett is compromised by the slower Astra, which means that Nick Gwinnett now comes under pressure from Robert Buckland, who's trying to go around the outside at Surtees, but doesn't quite make it stick the order somehow. Not quite sure how, still remains the same.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to watch that battle for third place, and all the number 177 of Peter Osborne is doing is making sure that he hits every apex to try and stay ahead. You'll see that he's got a slight advantage down the start finish straight, but you can see there Nick Gwinnett in the number 14 trying to make his move. There goes Tony Hunter trying a move down the inside in towards Paddock Hill Bend, trying to put some drivers off. A little bit of contact, I think that was, from the number 75 of Robert Buckland on the back of the number 14 of Nick Gwinnett as they make their way now up towards Drewers. There again is Tony Hunter trying to just have a look down the inside of Robert Buckland there as they now descend towards Graham Hill Bend, and Peter Osborne is doing a fantastic job of holding those three cars behind him. Those three Renault Clios are out for that third place. Who gets it? I'm not sure, but Peter Osborne doing a fantastic job in the Vauxhall.
Yeah, here we go. Rob Burley onto the final lap of the race. Dave Clark chasing him down still. Who's going to finish in third place as Nick Gwinnett tries to throw one up the inside of Peter Osborne again. They'll be side by side coming out of Clearways corner. Then the extra grunt to the Vauxhall Astra will tell in a straight line, and he should almost draw himself back alongside again. But Nick Gwinnett has just got his nose ahead this time as they come over the start finish line. Peter Osborne is also on the outside line heading up towards Paddock Hill Bend. So Nick Gwinnett finally unlocks the door and goes through. Robert Buckland is going to squeeze his way through as well. And Peter Osborne, if he leaves the door open, might see him lose a further place to the next of the Clios, which is going to be Tony Hunter, and indeed he leaves the door open at Druids. I do wonder whether there might be a slight problem with the Vauxhall, and therefore rather than stick his elbows out, he did the sensible thing and stayed out of harm's way. As for Rob Burley, still a bit of trouble with back markers heading onto the final corner really. He almost got caught out there with a slower car, but Rod Burley is on course for another double win here at Brands Hatch. Rod Burley comes through and claims the win in the second of the Track Attack Racing Club races. Dave Clark, good race from him still at the wheel of the Renault 5, might not have been a win, but worked his way through from 6th on the grid to lead for a period of time and ultimately finish in 2nd place. 3rd place is going to go the way of Nick Gwinnett, hard fought that 3rd place from him. 4th will go the way of Robert Buckland. 5th place will be Tony Hunter, and 6th in the end will be the car of Peter Osborne. 7th place we should see coming through in 7th place, as long as he can hang on to it. Might just be Clive Hainsford that hangs on to 7th place, and he's being chased by Andy Thompson's Seat towards the line. It is indeed the Mazda from the Seat for what is 7th and 8th place. 9th place should be Thomas Franklin at the wheel of the second of the two Renault 5s, I would have thought. He'll just be coming up towards the checkered flag now and completing the top 10. Already having taken the checkered flag is Charlie Heatley. He finished a lap adrift of the race leader. So another interesting race, some great battles amongst them as well. The first time I've bumped into the Track Attack Race Club this season, and I've enjoyed what I've seen.
Honestly, they put on a great show at Cadwell Park as well, so I'm not surprised whatsoever, but great battling all around, great respect shown from all the drivers, and that battle for 3rd place going right to the final lap, absolutely brilliant to watch. But well earned win for Burley there, especially keeping his head down in that early stages of the race.